Welcome to the Dice Box and the Fixers after a few weeks of been a hard month. If memory serves me, previously, everybody went off to a local dinky kind of unofficial Ratskeller to try to get some information about the bullshit that's going on in the Black Forest at the moment. And somebody, the person that they're probably looking for, as it happens, blew it up. A lot of people died. One person who should have didn't. So now they have their version of Nile, which is fantastic, and her stats are a little bit. You know what my dice are like. I'm just gonna leave it there. Who's sort of getting shit done in between panic attacks. Ketty got some answers, or an answer anyway, about who they were dealing with, and who they seemed to be dealing with was kind of Ketty's counterpart, potentially. Either a scion of or someone blessed by the rather screwed up Germanic version of Odin, who's been a little bit screwed up in the mythological sense by the whole Second World War and full of Nazis thing. Can't imagine what those gods must look like in the States, particularly now. I hate the fact that they use Norse iconography. Am I allowed to hate that?
Yeah, a lot of actual Norse people hate it too. So yes.
To be fair, I think the thing that's worse is I one of my first real actual sensible boyfriend was Hindu, and the swastika, what they did to it to make it the Nazi symbol, yeah, no.
Yeah, they took a margin and flipped it and just made it horrible.
And yeah, there are some very pissed off people. Anyway, yes, so what you basically have is Ketty having come down from roof explaining that what they have is an issue where the wild hunt is running around killing or recruiting and making into monsters probably any who they do recruit to just run around and terrorize the Black Forest for a while. They need to stop the wild hunt before it gets its next prey, or possibly a specific bit of prey. Ketty only has a certain number of questions he can ask at any given time, so if anyone can present him with better questions to ask, that's a thing. But meantime, Suyin and Rafe went out to try to get some more less esoteric information about who used what, where, what else they bought. And they got the individual, not a name, but they did figure out where he was staying. As we left it, Kim was hiding / doing research because Ketty has absolutely no idea how she does the things she does, but it sure as hell isn't anything to do with him. She also managed to explain which gods you two are associated with, because unlike Ketty, y'all don't know. And you guys are just heading back. We stopped it about there so that we didn't have a massive long conversation, which you all are going to have. Probably about 15-20 minutes after Kim is like, I'm not sure whether I'm going to be skipping the panic attack in favor of potential research, or I'll have the panic attack and then have research. Were we planning on doing anything else tonight?
No, this would
Even
not be a good time to go into the forest.
I wasn't thinking about the forest. They are headed out for information. So I suppose it depends on what their information is and how we would need to act upon it. So I'll try to keep the panic attack short, try to do some sort of research on what I can do. And I mean, hopefully I have some time to actually think about this, but if not, needs must.
Yes, but
Grab.
if you do have questions, Kim.
I thank you. I I think I need to get a sense of where I am before I know what I need to ask. If that makes sense.
Of course.
Grabs her pad like it's like some kind of teddy bear and goes into the room that's marked as hers. That's just her. It's just mine. Clack 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 thump. And about 10-15 minutes after that, you guys come back in.
Hey, boss.
Hey, you two. Did you find anything?
Yes. First off, Rafe, your new toy.
He hoists up the
Snipe.
trombone case. Is that-
Just the trombone case and not any clue as to what's in it. So as far as you can tell, it's like
It's
Ket-
a trombone.
Ket-
Is that-
Ketty.
Ketty's first thought is, please tell me I don't have to teach him how to play that fucking thing.
Hey, looking at looking at and look at. Oh, right. Hang on. Sets it down. Puts it on the side. Flip, flip. And what's hilarious is I actually played trombone in fourth grade, so so I actually know exactly how big this case is. I quit because it was bloody heavy. Anyway,
I have 2 words for you: baritone saxophone.
ouch.
My
Damn.
sister's waved one of those around and refuses to play one ever again.
Better you than me. But anyway, yeah, opens it up and rifle, sniper rifle. Very, very,
Very,
nice.
very good sniper
Very,
rifle.
very nice. Yes.
Like a Barrett.
That might come in handy soon enough.
Mm-hmm. So,
Now, besides that, we found out that our bomb-happy friend is stockpiling.
Stockpiling weapons?
Yes.
As I recall, many sharp things.
Sharp object, various bladed items, pointy things, and an alarming amount of explosives. I immediately consider the possibility that there are going to be more attempts at improvised devices. I had my fill of those once already. I don't want to have to experience more. And no one else needs to experience any more of those. And then there's the one hiccup. There's an individual there whose setup was partially masked as fireworks and was, I think, also chemical oriented.
Yes.
Either way, this fellow saw me and somehow made the connection of my current appearance to some very, very old records of me.
There's a purple shimmer about 2 feet behind Suyin, and whoop, Kim taps Suyin on the shoulder.
I'm just going to swivel, almost like a ratchet.
I might be able to help with that. If I get to him soon.
I can lead the way.
Good, because I honestly have some shopping to do anyway. I can do things, apparently. There's some things that need saying and gestures that need happening, and I'm going to need some components for some of it, but it would appear that waking up what I am has woken up some other things. And she taps his trombone case and casts light. And so now the trombone case is glowing.
You're catching on quite quickly.
That's gonna stop at some point, right?
And
Just
she snaps her fingers and it stops.
Oh, okay. That was awesome. It's just if we're trying to get some place to actually set it up.
And just puts a finger across his lips.
Sorry, boss.
It's fine. I may have some questions, but I have a feeling that I take it that a lot of the more passive things you can do are distinct to you, but we'll have to talk about that after I've seen this individual, because I've read a thing, but it needs to be soon. You cannot be around, I'm pointing at Suyin, when you do it, and you have to avoid him seeing you the rest of the time. I can't erase the knowledge of you in his head exactly, but I can make him forget he saw you.
I'll just direct you to the place and point out where in it he is.
To be fair, Keti can't do that, or the purple moving places thing, but he knows those spells. He just doesn't do them quite that way.
He's looking impressed.
So yeah, she's just lead the way.
Right, come on. And going to head out.
You two stay here.
Okay.
Anything that makes it easier for him to forget is a good thing. And you're not exactly hard to spot.
Very well, just stay out of trouble, Suyin.
At which point, Rafe pulls out a small little bit of paper or a tiny little spiral notebook somewhere, just pulls out a pencil and just puts a mark in it.
Why?
If you open it up, it's page after page after page of those marks, marking off every single time Kenny has told Suyin to stay out of trouble.
There is something I might possibly be able to do to keep her out of trouble.
I'm concerned.
Can Suyin make me a wisdom saving throw, please?
Oh, god damn it. This is gonna be dumb.
Probably.
That is 5. And you're given your rolls for stats. I failed by at least 40.
That's not possible, but her int score, which is her casting score, is a +4. But partially because she has keen mind and linguist, so
18
that
at minimum. Jesus Christ.
19 actually. But yeah, no. So Yin is now a chinchilla.
Rafe is sitting, just saw that, blink, started laughing, and just sort of onto the floor because he's just got it gobsmacked. Holy jeez, what the?
Is he flat on his back?
No, he's just sitting up. He just kind of collapsed.
Skitter over to Rafe. Skitter up an arm if I can manage.
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
I'm gonna bite him in the ear.
Oh, Christ. What? Okay, I'm gonna have to use rat stats for this. And your dex is down to 0. So I'm going to roll for you.
Yep.
That is an 11. Probably just about misses. So Rafe actually manages. He knows what's about to happen, so he can take Suyin by the scruff.
And now you're being held by the scruff in front of him, and he's just sort of turning you. Just what the?
Very confused, very agitated chinchilla. Like, just not somewhat dimly aware that I used to be a person, but just not happy.
And there. So now he's just.
Rafe, please put her down. I don't want to turn her back.
Setting her down carefully.
And lets it go, and there's Suyin sitting on the floor.
Very impressive indeed.
If
I have this craving for something I didn't think I could ever actually want to eat again.
that being?
Grass. Grains. Things of a nature that would belong in rodent food. What did you do to me?
I turned you into a chinchilla.
Hmm.
And if you cause trouble, I'll do it again.
To be fair, you were adorable. Even when you tried to bite me in the ear. But I don't blame you for that. Probably a bit panicked.
I am going to get up, walk over to Kim, and kiss her square on the mouth.
Just she'll kiss back a bit, but we don't really have time for this.
Yeah, we need to go. We have to go. We have people's brains to fry somehow. Whew! And I'm walking out the door.
Yeah, and Kim is just, I'll keep her in line. So what are you two gonna do while this is going on?
Don't think I'm gonna need this anymore.
Wait until he figures out that Kim has resilient sphere. She has the hamster ball.
Fucking hamster ball. Oh no.
She's an abjuration wizard.
Bubble.
He just sort of looks at Kenny, just sort of toss. Oh, no.
So, besides that, what are you two? Let's briefly handle that, because.
Oh god.
So that was some of what we got. It was probably plastique that was used.
Oh, and
That,
with a nat 20 on the hand of fate, you do remember that you got told. You don't remember the actual
Yeah.
location, but you do remember that you got told where this guy was staying.
And Suyin didn't say, and you know me and my Swiss cheese with info. I wasn't able to write it down because I was being all bodyguard, but we did get told where he was staying. Suyin knows.
That could be useful.
But yeah, I remember it was plastique because that was how we were figuring out which one to speak to, and Suyin suggested that, and I thought about it, and yeah, given my experiences, that jibed. So, and yeah, it turned out, and plastic guy with some monetary prompting was forthcoming with the info. So, but I don't remember it. Sorry, boss.
Oh, he's one step ahead of all of us at this point, but not for much longer.
My mental steps are kind of small. I'm working on it, but yeah.
So you guys are just basically conversing while
Yeah.
while Suyin shows Kim to the market, and I mean Kim is picking up some weird shit. These various dusts and bits and pieces that Suyin can't figure out quite why she wants them, but Kim is just checking her pad and being like, okay, and paying for everything with local currency, but everybody else looks as confused as Suyin feels, probably. Okay, point me.
All right, we're gonna go down this set of stairs, that hall, and then at the end there's a hallway that breaks in 3 directions. Go left.
Yes, but you're gonna have to point me at the specific individual.
I will. Just making sure in case something absolutely stupid happens that you know where to go to at least get in the room full of armaments.
Fair enough. And off they go, and thankfully no stupid ensues, and it's actually good that you moved as quickly as you did, because Fireworks Guy is packing up, looking absolutely terrified.
I'm going to...
And Kim's like, I'm guessing that one?
Yeah, the one who looks like he's about to shit himself for fear of ghosts.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try and stealth or make myself
roll me
not
stealth.
noticeable.
Roll me stealth. Yeah, incidentally, insofar as passive perception goes, her wits are +3. Her rolls were 17, 17, 14, 14, 12, and 9. 9 went to strength. Because she's...
My stealth is a 31.
Yes, so Suyin basically vanishes, and Kim approaches the gentleman in her... in her sweetest sort of, I am, you look terribly... You're not hearing what's being said, but you know that expression of, you look very stressed, I am concerned. Oh god, he rolled a 7. And somewhere in the middle of that conversation, he starts looking very confused as to why he's packing things up. And Kim declines to actually clarify him on that point. It's like, if you... whatever you want to think at that point, dude, my work here is done. She buys she tries to buy a couple of pinches of various bits of his thing, not enough to blow anything up with, which is why he's like, take it, as he tries to rearrange his shit back into some kind of saleable condition. And she comes back with her little tiny pouch of a few pinches of dust to add to the rest of her weird bullshit.
So...
And goes back to that's the thing, because she doesn't know where Suyin went. So she's like, she basically just sort of heads back up in the, heads back in the direction of the stairs and up until Suyin catches up with her.
Yeah. When she exits, I'm going to sort of pop up from the side, like as the like person walks out, and I'm suddenly over here instead of behind her.
Yeah, but Kim was expecting that, so it's mission accomplished.
What did you do to him?
I modified his memory.
My god. How do you become more attractive every time you say things?
Because your tastes run to the incredibly rarefied?
Probably.
There you go. You asked, I answered. It's not anything like Ketty does. Mine is more, as you can see, there's more in the way of components and, I mean, it's always gestures and words, but mine are less musically inclined than his. It's like really, really complicated mathematics changing the physics of the world to suit me.
You
I,
would
I
be the
hack
person
reality.
who would do that. Yeah, I was about to say. Edit the programming language of the universe. That cleared up. There's one more bit of information that, in our need to get over here as quickly as possible, I didn't exactly get out. We also found out where our bomber was staying, last known.
Well, let's all let's get back to the let's get back to our current residence and let have everybody discuss that together. Incidentally, uh, head about 100 feet that way and stop. They're out of anything like you know, black market now. Just head 100 feet in that direction and stop.
I'm going to do that.
And like she was whispering right in your ear from the 100 feet away, if you can hear me, very quietly reply to this message.
Very, very quiet Chinese swearing.
And from the properly spoken from as she's walking back towards you. You kissed me with that mouth?
Yes.
Filthy. I want it washed out with soap if you're ever going to touch me with it again. Gives you a
Yes,
little
ma'am.
grin. That one's a shorter range one, which might limited effectiveness, but I do have something a little bit longer range, possibly a lot longer range. There's some experimentation, but given where we are and what we're doing, I think a lot of it's going to have to be on the fly, as it were.
Well, on the fly is often the most fun.
Actually, I'm going to have to try it now. Pulls out a piece of copper wire, well, winds it around her two fingers, and Ketty hears testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. If you can hear me, please reply.
Yes, Kim, I can hear you.
Yes,
says,
you know that one
surprised.
too. You know that one too. And just yes.
He just sort of looks like over his comic, like, mm.
Come on, let's get back before Rafe has too many questions, or Ketty actually has to answer them.
If we get back there and his ears are smoking, I'm going to douse his head with a fire hydrant. Or just an extinguisher, if that's safer.
Bucket. The word you're looking for is bucket.
Okay.
And these two step back. Kim with her little sack of other sacks of various components, and thank you for participating in my test. By the way, I didn't think I'd get a very positive reaction if I tried that with Rafe.
He just looks to Rafe.
Aforementioned brain melting would have occurred.
Boss, were you doing boss stuff again?
He wasn't.
Yes. Well, yeah. Kim was practicing one of her spells.
Okay, so you were doing boss stuff. Okay. Look, I don't know how you guys do what you do, but okay. I just know it works. So I just didn't expect to hear boss talking out loud right then, but okay.
Well, now you know why he was talking out loud right then. Because I was talking out loud to him from over there, except not through a phone. Through magic.
Well, yeah.
Through
Right.
magic. So there you go. We just thought you might appreciate an explanation, that's all.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Mission is in fact accomplished. I left one very confused fireworks salesman behind because he was in the process of packing up to flee in terror, possibly telling everybody in any drinking establishment he found about the ghost he discovered. So we've nipped that in the bud.
Good, good.
And I got some bits and pieces I might need for some more complicated work. If we're not... Did Rafe tell you that they'd got some information on where this gentleman was staying?
Mm-hmm.
If we're not going to spring on him tonight, there's some experimentation I want to do, and I believe, Ketty, you know that if I burn too much now, I'm going to need to rest before I am back at full capacity. As far as I understand it anyway, but I need to be able to understand. I've found some tomes, and I effectively think I have a setup that will be helpful on a number of levels, but I want to test some things out first. Would that be acceptable?
Yes, I think so. I doubt that Thomas Jensen is still in that hotel anymore.
But if we check through in the morning, he may have left some things behind.
Yes, it'd be worth looking into, but not an immediate rush.
For the time being, Rafe, I'd like to borrow you for a moment.
Okay, boss.
If you want to, we'll see how this goes in conjunction with you getting some training in. She steps out and it's like, just bare knuckles will be fine. I want something a bit more melee, although if I can hold it for that long, we might want to try seeing if that'll increase your firing speed, so keep a ranged weapon to hand. And she touches him on the arm and murmurs something in Korean, which that's not one of the languages he knows. And he feels faster. She has cast haste. Which is your movement speed is doubled. You have a +2 bonus to AC. You have advantage on dexterity saving throws, and you have an additional action, which can be used only to take a attack, dash, disengage, hide, or use an object. But you feel faster. And she's just pointing at the target dummies that have been set up out there, which
Yeah.
Kim eschewed for trees.
So yeah, and just sort of just run straight for the first one, and then just going down the line as quickly as possible.
Okay, attack 1.
Okay. Straight unarmed. Here we go.
Yep.
10.
Well, it's a practice dummy.
Yeah.
Roll damage.
Okay. 8.
You've put a pretty significant dent in it. Attack 2.
On the next one, as a 20
Roll damage.
and a 7.
That's still a pretty significant dent. And 3.
To the next one, 11.
Damage.
6.
Lesser dent yet, and that was in like 6 seconds or less.
Mm-hmm.
And she did say she wanted to try ranged.
And he's like,
And he's still, and it's like, and she's gesturing it at the hip where he's got his pistol at.
oh, and okay, Brace brings it up.
Yeah, because this will be next round. So
Yeah. So that's why he took a pause to brace for a second.
Yep.
So again, 3 shots, 1 at each. 20.
Roll damage.
7.
Not insignificant chunk of wood comes out of this thing.
18.
Roll damage.
12.
There is a pretty significant hole through it. 3.
18.
Roll damage.
8.
And she lets it go. That takes concentration.
Yeah. He's like, feels the as it kind of stops, and because he still had the pistol in his hand when she dropped it, and he's like,
yeah, you're stunned for your lethargy for 1 round, so can't move or take action for the next 6 seconds.
So it's like breathing, and then when the 6 seconds finally lapse, he'll finally like bring the gun back down and put it back. It's just
I can hold that for about a minute. You can get a lot done in a minute.
Yeah, especially like that. Whew. Wow. And he kind of shakes it off a little because he's used to exerting himself, just not used to exerting himself that much that quick. But he recovers fairly readily. So because that's physical exhaustion rather than mental.
Yep.
So was there anything else?
I know how this is going to sound, but I think I'm going to want Ketty for this one.
Okay.
Are you guys coming out and watching this?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you do hear. I think I'm going to want Ketty for this.
So Rafe will step back over where Ketty and Suyin are. I'm assuming Suyin is also watching.
I'm just sort of staring. Like you get Ketty is familiar with this expression. This is the one he saw when anytime that Suyin talked about Shang Yi Sao, and just that whole I want to fight that, and I also want to fuck that so much.
And while
gives her a brief look.
While Ketty is giving her that look, there is a shimmer in the air around him, in sort of a kind of like a goldfish bowl sealed at the top around him. About what is it? Well, given that it's large size or smaller, you're looking at 10 feet diameter. So all of a sudden, he's in a bubble. Just tink, tink, tink.
Most impressive.
Rafe, try to hit it.
Okay. And comes back and just full. He's not pulling it back, just full swing.
To be fair, given it's not going anywhere, I'm going to say he hits it, and it doesn't matter how much damage he does, he comes away with his hand just, ow!
Yep. It's, he boom, crack.
And it heals up, obviously.
Yeah, but he for a minute he's like, oh, and then kind of shifts things, and you hear a crunch, and then it firms up, and he's like, oh boy.
Kim actually pulls her sidearm and just unloads it, and not a scratch.
9mm mag dump.
Betty
Reload.
blinked
9mm mag
at
dump.
that.
Yep.
Mhm.
Joe drops the empty clip. Okay. I think that works from the outside, but I wouldn't recommend firing a firearm in there because I don't know what would happen with a ricochet. But try to cast a spell on someone out here.
Rafe raises the hand he didn't punch with.
I have that's not too destructive.
On the other hand, given what she said, he might as well do something destructive because it's probably not going to do shit.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I'll cast Sacred Flame.
That's why Rafe was expecting something that went boom. That's why he's like, hey.
Fizzles.
Oh, curious.
Can't target anything outside of it.
So either it can be used to protect somebody, even if they can't actually do anything else, but it would make a wonderful indestructible distraction, or it can be used to put somebody in a bubble. I mean, obviously, if they are a bit more aware of what's going on, they might be able to dodge out of it before the spell solidifies, but they've only got a few seconds to do it in, so that's something else. Okay, I'm a little hesitant to do this one, but it's late enough, and I need to know if this one works. Pulls out a pinch of some of the powders that she pulled up, pours them into her palm, cuts her hand across her palm, and murmurs something in Korean, and this wall of fire winds up separating Ketty and Rafe is getting the hot end.
Steps back a couple of paces at least. Like, whoa.
Shuts that down. There's a few other things I think. Barriers and fire seem to be pretty significant. I seem to be better at those.
Huh.
Those are fine skills to have.
But I did also manage to find, okay, there is one other thing. And she turns around. Suyin, make me a wisdom save.
17.
Given her, it's still not enough.
Mm-hmm.
Suyin vanishes. And you are in kind of a largely empty demi-plane. Don't worry. She'll be back in a minute. Or less if I call her back sooner.
Oh, yeah, no.
That will be useful.
And a minute's as long as I can hold it, but she leaves it for about 20 seconds before... And Suyin is
great
back.
deal can happen in a minute.
Indeed, but... and Suyin is back.
Where did I go?
I think the best way of putting it is a pocket dimension. I just kind of shunted you sideways. I can hold that for about a minute.
There are whole TV shows about that concept, and yet you've just... Oh boy.
So
I
you
am...
kind of shoved him into a universal closet, or shoved her. Excuse me.
It's kind of like if somebody blocked off the wardrobe door to Narnia at the Narnia end, so you put them in, and there's that liminal space between that's not closet, but that's not Narnia either.
I remember that. I read that.
Yeah.
Took a while. I read it.
That's, damn.
That's not one of the ones I can do particularly often, and there's there's other things I can do, and there's one that I might want to do tonight. Ketty, if this gentleman is what we believe he is, he might have the same methods of gaining information as you do.
It is certainly possible, yes.
What if we could neutralize that?
What are you thinking?
There's something I found. It makes an area, for lack of a better term, magically secure. You can't scry through it. No spells that can track someone or answer questions about them or anything like that. Nobody can teleport into here, like that purple shimmery thing I was doing, or pop in from some other place or be popped out, so that thing that I did to Suyin wouldn't be able to be done. And the barrier around the place, it would look dark and foggy in this spot. It enhance the whole haunted, deserted house thing, but it also means that even people who can't see in the dark wouldn't be able to see unless I wanted them to.
That would be most welcome. It is possible that he knows we're here, or we'll find out soon enough.
Okay, I'm going to need about 10 minutes, but it'll last the day, and I don't have to focus to make it work. And let me think. She's doing some calculations in her head. That's 100 feet on each side. So if we're going to be tucking in for the night, I can do the house. Probably not much of the yard. So if anyone has anything they want to get done in the yard, speak now. I can cover the roof. You can still be on the roof if you need to be.
Good to know.
Right. If you'd like to go in, I'll get this started.
Yep, let's dump on in.
Yeah. And she's just scratching. If anybody's looking out window, she's kind of scratching glyphs around the house with this, just muttering things and waving around this bit of, Suyin saw her buy this, a bit of opaque glass, a wad of cotton, some powdered, what you guys don't know about, but she knows is chrysolite, and a thin sheet of lead. Suyin saw her buy all these things and didn't know why she was buying them, and now she knows why Kim was buying them.
This explains a lot. Of a lot.
And Rafe is just. He's got that look again, though.
Yeah, he just boss does what boss does, and boss does what boss does, and just lets it fly. So yeah, you're both boss. Deal. Boss is the smartest person in the room, and 9 times out of 10, it's either of you. So there you go.
Well, given int score, most intellectual certainly goes to.
Big brain time.
Yeah. And she comes in just 10 minutes later, just. Okay. Yes, just because people can't scry in doesn't mean you can't scry out.
That's
Perfect.
good.
I know we had dinner, but everybody kind of came back from the dead today. Do we need to eat something else? You could eat, I know. It's fine. You're
A light supper.
I am what I am.
a light supper for you, but he did have a haste spell cast on him. He burned a lot of energy doing that. That's entirely fair. Besides, doing things stops me from having the panic, which I'll probably have a bit later when I realize that I can use ritual maths to make physics do what I want.
If you ever need a distraction from the panic, there is me. And I'm going to just sort of prance away.
That gets a straight up double face palm from Rife.
I know that wasn't meant to be the biggest turnoff, but the timing made it so. Oh, heads in a kitchenward direction.
It's just
Looks to Rafe. Suyin would have gotten along with my people, to be fair.
Oh God! Look! Oh,
He's done that again.
help!
How? They're on the East Coast and I'm further east than that. How are we supposed to help you?
I don't know, but I'm sliding further in.
Well, at least it'll get you out of the wedge.
No, going further that way is bad.
Well, stop swinging in that direction and there you go.
Ugh. That was terrifying.
Yeah, given that Ketty is probably the only one with any kinds of smarts that to figure this shit out. Kim's probably demisexual. She really needs to trust the person that she's going to get, if she's going to get really intimately involved with them. And Suyin just put a dent the size of Rafe in that trust. But yeah, she would have gone along perfectly fine with your people.
Suyin, you walking disaster.
Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, she comes out with a light supper for Ketty and Suyin, and some of the best fried chicken Rafe has had since before he had his first time.
He's glowing at this point. He's like the happiness is like he can't do a light spell, but like you'd think he might have.
Mm. Well, I mean,
Happy.
yeah, because it's chicken and mashed potatoes and biscuits and gravy, and there aren't collard greens, but she's done her best with what she has.
And yeah, he'll proceed to probably put away every bit of that.
Yeah, she did give him a good-sized plate, so he's comfortably full afterwards. And yeah, Kim is sitting as far away from Suyin as it's possible to do.
It's going to quietly register, catalog that away, and think of how to apologize for later.
And, okay, I'm probably going to regret this, but make me an insight check.
Alrighty. 17.
Yeah, you've actually figured out what Ketty already knows. She's one of those people who doesn't do the sex thing unless she has developed significant trust with you, and you just made it all about, you can't do me without me kind of thing. And that's just set everything a good 6 steps backwards. You were doing fine right up until the clumsy proposition.
I keep forgetting this isn't bloody Port City. It's in Singapore. I'm not allowed to do that.
Yeah, Kim finishes her dinner, collects plates.
Thank you.
Very welcome.
Farm boys polite. What can I say?
And actually uses a mage hand to collect Suyin, so you just see this little spectral hand. Yoink. Also, so she doesn't have to get too close, but clink. I'll wash these up and try to get some rest, and we can discuss a game plan in the morning.
Very well.
There's a flask of fairly decent bourbon in that box in the corner. If anyone wants any of that. Go, Rafe.
Rats.
If someone says if someone wants it and you want it, that is permission.
Okay. Well, I just was waiting to see if anybody else did. Sorry.
Well, just bring out the flask, and if they decide they want it, they can have some.
Brings it back and sits down. Clunk. Wait. Damn. I forgot a glass.
She's just loaded what dishwasher setup she's got set up, and as she's heading in the room, it's a flask, Rafe. And what's going to happen if you get any kind of germs? Do we get colds?
Point. Okay. Swig.
And in room shuts door.
After she's gone, and if he's still offering, I'm going to grab it, take a long swig, hand it back, and
It's noticeably lighter.
and walk up to go out onto the roof.
Okay.
Boss?
Kitty takes a sip and then goes to turn in for the night.
So what is Suyin... Well, first of all, what is Rafe going to do now that he's been left alone?
Probably just
with
grab his
Suyin,
stuff and...
With Suyin up on the roof. Why is Suyin up on the roof?
Actually, can I do an insight check?
You can!
Just because I'm out of character, I'm not sure if he would look in on her or...
You may. Whether you can or not's debatable.
But fair. I should have said that. I'm going to bed.
No, actually, to be fair, insight can go one of two ways.
Ah, okay.
She's gonna throw herself off, and while it's not going to kill her, it's gonna hurt.
That was actually, I'll say, when you said she was going up on the roof, part of me wanted to quip, don't jump, you have so much to live for. So yeah, I'm gonna run with that. Okay. I'll grab my stuff, bring it over to where I'm crashing, and then quickly run out and run up to the roof where Suyin is. And
what is Suyin doing when
Rafe comes quickly out?
I'm just stretched out on my back on the roof, staring up.
Okay, so Rafe comes out on the roof and is like, "Don't you?" Oh,
There are so many things I want to do right now, and that's the least one of them.
okay.
I have more inventive ways of exercising self-punishment than that.
And I'm not going to ask. I didn't ask. I'm not this time. I mean, okay. Yeah, information's not my thing, but even I know that you probably should have said that to boss. Um, are you going to be okay?
I'll be fine. I'll apologize when I can come up with the right wording.
Oof, good luck. And I didn't mean to bring it up quite so quickly. Sorry. Oh, hell, you having a problem with words, so am I.
But at the same time,
Should I go?
you are a very simple man, and your thought is, why don't you just say,
Yeah.
"I'm sorry"?
Oh, um, you could start with "I'm sorry." I mean, simple.
Yeah, I just tend
Like
to
me.
take extra steps, and I'm trying to avoid the extra steps this time.
Right. So just say "I'm sorry."
Not what I meant, but
But,
sure.
well, if you're trying to avoid extra steps, then don't take the extra steps. Just go, boss, I'm sorry. Step 1, step 2, step 3.
Some of us do extra steps without trying to.
So then try not to.
Then, yeah, exactly. Then
It's just Ray of Podrick
try
versus
not
Guyen.
to. That's why I'm saying just if there's the words, just go up to, well, wait, she wasn't trying to get close, so
Case in point.
get within earshot. You can yell real loud. I know that for a fact. That's why I remember that. Isn't that one of the reasons you started avoiding places that that had alcohol that were higher than 3 floors up? Well, assuming they weren't over the water, that's a little easier. But although it still hurts if you get high enough. Anyway.
Cruise ships are high enough.
Oh yeah. Yeah, when you said you were going to take me on a carnival, I didn't know that was what you meant.
Well, to be fair, you did kind of wonder, wait, why is she saying on a carnival? I thought it was to a carnival. My grammar's not that bad.
Well, just maybe just keep it simple. Just a thought.
I'll do that.
Just I'm sorry. Well, I'll go.
Thanks, Rafe.
Pat.
That's
Pat.
proper
Pat.
when you get.
He walks over and like walks over, leans. Following him to do.
the eyebrow.
Yeah, just big hand like on the shoulders. Pat. Pat. Pat, and walks back in. Goes to bed.
For all of that, I still don't know where that kind of insight comes from on that man. Yeah. Now it's all down to timing. I'm just gonna stay up there for a while yet and eventually head down and crash.
Okay. Well, it's well timed because we're at about the halfway mark. So when we come back, game planning ensues. And we're back after an evening of largely trying out magic. morning happens, and you all are woken up to the smell of cooking breakfast. There's the smell of waffles.
It's like, and then that smell hits, and he's like, and there's a real moment of confusion because wait, that's not my wait, oh wait, a whole lot of time has passed since then. Because he had a brief moment of like, mom, but he's like, wait,
Aw.
whole lot of time's passed since then. So, because it's very much like the smell was like home,
Yeah.
and
It's,
so, but yeah,
the smell is waffles baking coffee.
so yeah, he quickly gets up and pulls himself together.
And yeah, when you guys come into your sort of common area, there's Kim rattling around in the kitchen.
And Rafe just kind of lightly bounces in. Hey, boss. Morning.
Morning. I think your plate is probably about ready, because I figured you'd be the first one out. And hi, a stack of waffles and bacon and
Thank you so much.
a little dish of fruit salad off to the side and one of the bigger mugs of coffee.
Yep. Makes a couple. He'll take a couple of trips, but gather all that up and bring it to the table.
Yeah, so you guys, when you finally come in, you've got Rafe. Yeah, because you would have had to take a couple of trips because the syrup and the butter and the jam and the everything, and so
Oh yeah,
you've got
he helps sort of set the table for everybody else, bringing all that
yeah.
over.
So by the time you come in, you see him sitting down to like uber stack of waffles and bacon.
It looks like the world's biggest 10-year-old. This is the grand.
Sorry, it's just the look on Suyan's face.
You, you're a marvel. You're a marvel. And I'm going to just situate myself quietly.
Yeah. Kim comes out, waitress balancing a couple of more plates and just decides not to mage hand this time, but still isn't getting too close to Suyin as Bink. Smaller plate, but smaller person.
Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome. And plate for Ketty and sets her own down. So, do we have a game plan?
We'll see if anything of note was left behind from Thomas Schutzen's last place of residence.
Before we do that, though, I may be able to find out where he is right now.
That would be amazing. And maybe even an opportunity to try out Rafe's new toy.
Possibly.
That's not going to stop anything. That'll, if he's anything like us, it'll just very briefly inconvenience him and annoy him for a while.
And reveal more about us than I think we want him to know.
It has its
There are
uses,
ways
but
of making
we
his
should be
legs
mindful.
inoperative with it.
Yeah, that's a more difficult shot, but
Because, yeah, I don't want him dead immediately.
well, if he's anything like us, he wouldn't be anyway. That's kind of the point. Because at the distance that I'd be hitting him, by the time we got up to him, he'd probably be gone.
Hmm. Sorry, not being entirely clear. I want to remove his eyeballs.
They will probably grow back.
Over and over and over. I'm going to have fun with this because he's been a complete...
Zuyin,
We don't have the storage space for that.
there are a
Yeah,
number of
that's true.
things to attend to here.
Let's just stop the hunt. If we can deprive him his prey, he'll have his power over the hunt will be broken. What happens with him after that? Honestly, I'd be happy enough just to have him out of Germany for the time being, until we can figure out some way of containing or permanently removing him. Because there's only so much I can do.
Interrupting him is a good start for now.
So we find out.
No, go ahead.
So we find out where he is now, and if he's no longer at the location we knew he was at last, we go investigate. And if that turns up nothing, I guess hit the bushes and see what falls out by having him notice a tail.
Or could we potentially find out what his prey is? Or who his prey is?
Well, I think that's more of Ketty's department. I mean, even if he can't ask his sources, as I understand it, there's a great many things that you can speak to. And we know the approximate hunting grounds. Something out there must know what his primary prey is. And it's bound to be something significant. And for the time being, I mean, obviously, finding him would be very large magic, and I'd rather not burn something that strong more than necessary, so I think I'm going to try to figure out where he's not before I figure out where he is, but I'm going to finish breakfast first. If we can, I mean, I think there's only a few residences like the one Suyin was mentioning in the area. So if I call with a description and see if he's checked out, then we'll know whether it's safe. Besides, the spell I have in mind works better if you know the target particularly well, or if you have one of their possessions or lock of hair or something like that. Which we don't now, but
all the more.
But if we go, gotcha, boss. I did have another thought because you keep saying we should find out what his prey is if we can take the prey away, etc., etc. What if he was hunting me or one of us? What if we convinced him to or got involved in that way? I don't know. With that,
we're already involved.
Well, yeah, but then he wouldn't be targeting kids.
We can't die.
Right.
Yeah.
And I
the
don't
most
think we
likely
can
target
be changed.
Anyway. Oh, right. Okay. Sorry.
His intentions are difficult to guess at, but he is certainly aware of our presence and our attempt to interfere, most likely.
Yeah, no,
Yep. Also,
it was simple. Just remove the prey. Okay. become the prey. That removes the original prey. So,
But let Suyin
I got it.
finish.
Sorry, go ahead, Cian. I'm sorry.
Consider the most likely target is not I, myself, or you, or even Kim. The most likely target, given the information we have so far, if he were targeting any of us, is. And I'm gesturing to Ketty.
That's certainly a possibility, but he's also going to know, whatever his ability set is, that there's one thing he'd wind up sharing with Ketty.
And it's likely that Thomas Jensen knows quite a bit, and that's very likely how he knew we would be at that bar.
Or he had plans in that direction anyway, and we just got unlucky. Because there was somebody talking a little too much for the liking of someone like him.
Even in that case, it's no reason to break the rules.
Suyin. No one's disputing that, but right now we need to plan, not to fume.
Yeah, sorry.
There's no point in focusing on what he did wrong. We need to stop anything worse happening.
Yeah, so we've got our plan largely hashed out. Who's going to go take care of what?
Well, you're the stealthy one.
And I'll be able to get into his room space without any keys required. I'm tagging him for that.
Ketty might have a question to ask, because whatever the prey is, the ultimate prey, the only thing I can think is that it's going to be ritually significant in some way. Something significant to parental figures, looking meaningfully at Ketty, or this country, or both, perhaps. I couldn't say for sure, but my studies haven't gone quite that far that way. I haven't had anywhere near as long to do so as you have. I can think of a few places I could probably look up the information, but just trying to get access, and that might take longer than you might take to get that kind of information.
If I am lucky, and if not, then we'll see what you can uncover from
Well,
what it means.
the first thing I'm going to need to do is after I've finished my breakfast, make those calls. And Suyin, while you're there, I mean, check the bathroom, the drain for hair clumps, hairbrush, toothbrush.
I've got a few ideas as to hidey holes too, so I'll look into those as well.
Yeah, I'd prefer hair or something similar, but if it's just a possession, something of his, then that'll do. I just want to make this as surefire as possible. And what?
Yeah.
And check the pillows too.
Fair enough.
Yeah, there's a way to turn one of those into a useful slick.
No, because hair falls off when you sleep.
I'm not talking about the hair. The hair bit goes without saying. I'm talking about other things.
Like what?
Oh, any other bits of potential info he may have left hidden in locations like that.
Okay.
Oh.
You see, your brain is on an entirely different track than ours, because ours are quietly on a specific task. I asked for what I needed, and you were moving into what you were looking for, which is why we worried that you haven't necessarily been listening to a word we said.
Yeah, I'll definitely check for hair. I'll make sure you have your materials for those first. Outside of that, there's because we were also just needing to see what else could be there. I
Yes.
wanted to consider the hiding spots for that.
And you
Uh,
wanted to do it out loud because you always do.
A little bit, yeah.
I'm sure there has to be some kind of switch that keeps the things that are happening in your brain from coming out of your mouth.
We'll find it one of these days. I'd definitely like to, because it. Yeah.
Finishes up her breakfast, pulls out her pad. I have some phone calls to make. Hopefully, this won't take very long, but when I have the address, I will come right back to you.
Rafe is now very interested in his food.
Yeah, some.
To be fair, even with the stack he had, given how he eats, it's probably gone by now.
There's probably like half a waffle left.
And he's cutting it into very small pieces. So you get to watch Ketty eating individual squares of waffle.
I'm gonna get looking down at my own food. It's probably about halfway through. Looking at Rafe, looking down at that. I'm just gonna hand him mine.
I'm still coasting on the nat one, so
It's kind of concerned look, and it's like, well, it's not like she's gonna starve.
yeah, exactly. It's kind of all right. And then just leans a little bit towards C and simple.
Just Muppet Scrunch.
That was said very softly and as kindly as he can manage.
Kindly, he'll do. Softly, he might well do as well, but it's not like. Ketty has fairly
exactly
good
subtle.
hearing.
It wasn't exactly subtle.
And I think Cian's expression says quite a bit.
They've. It's Suyin being Suyin, basically, and it's Rafe giving her the advice. That in and of itself is going to be hysterical. And about 10 minutes later, she comes back in with her pad tucked under one arm and a sheet of notebook paper in the other, which she is sort of folds in half as best she can, one-handed, and hands it to, sort of tucks it at Suyin's place. Just, that's the address. He's not there. He hasn't checked out exactly, but he has the room reserved for the next few weeks. But he apparently is asking for only very light turn down service because he's going to be away camping for the next few days.
Huh. Oh boy. That's just several layers, some of which are things I've done, just not in this particular context. If you, there are reasons to keep a room like this on hand. You can set up a communications hub in it and just leave it there. You can use it as a dead drop. You can so many things you can get up to with that with a reserved room.
Or you could also just stay in it when you're in town restocking. It's a valid thought. Just we won't know any of this until it's examined, so
Mm-hmm.
why are we talking about it before we know?
Yeah,
Giving us the
just
worst case scenario is only going to make us worry.
I think there's something about
brain mouth thing. I'm going to go handle this. I'm going to go
Thank
retrieve a
you,
few tools and leave.
Suyin.
Hmm. And for Rafe, she just says, if she mentions the worst case scenario before she even looks into it, we will find ourselves expecting the absolute worst case scenario, and it's just going to stress us out before we necessarily need to.
Oh yeah.
Particularly when there's nothing we can really do to prepare for any of it. All it
Oh
does is
yeah.
waste
Yeah.
time.
Yes. Yeah. No, uh, I was going to mention there was something about a cart and a horse involved.
That's fair, but
Mm.
it. I think. I think if you were going to be able to get her to engage that mouth brain filter, you probably would have done it.
About
About
100 years ago.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Mhm.
Mm. Now, I still have some more research to do. Just the reading this time. So I will leave you all to it for when, and we'll reconvene when Suyin gets back.
Okay, so Yan is investigating your boss. You're doing your boss thing. I still don't really know how that all works, but that's okay. And you're researching, so I guess I'll look at my rifle and get used to it. That works. That I can do.
She goes into her room and she comes out. Given the era that we're looking at, this should still be possible. Um, I've been saving this for something of a special occasion. And she pulls out a graphic novel copy of Watchmen. And just hands it to him.
Oh, neat.
Oh,
And he's
no.
lost.
Yeah, this is a very different take on superheroes, though.
Oh,
So it's
this is
probably a little.
this may have some. He may have some questions later.
God, I love this man.
Kim is aware of this, but she's trying to broaden his horizons a little bit.
Look, he got the Shakespeare, so
Well, and to be fair, he probably does understand how, because he's been hiding so long, he understands how dangerous y'all can be, and having seen what Kim can now do. But still, some of the shit that Ozymandias was getting up to is kind of. Okay, let's start with Ketty because his is going to take less time.
Yep. No. Grab some leftover bacon and head up to the roof. Set that out. Do his thing.
Yep. Yeah. And he's still mostly getting ethereal ravens, because, again, but you just hear the and the slight weights on either shoulder.
Looks up. Who is the ultimate prey of the wild hunt?
The weight on either one of his shoulders vanishes, and there's a roar, and in front of him, small and spectral, but still, what you have is a bear. Not a little bee ambling along bear, but bear with a capital B. Something that feels significant in a. This is a part of, slash, representative of, slash, tied to the forest, the land, the everything. This bear is to Germany what your ravens and the wolves that sometimes you can just about feel at your heels are to you. This spectral bear is mildly wounded. Still strong, but it's pretty clear that they found him at least once. And then the spectral bear is gone. Meanwhile, Shigen, you are effectively in front of a. I mean, it's so plain, it's so bare bones. It's a tall, skinny building interspersed with windows, mostly concrete. It's the dullest. It's not even a no-tell motel. No-tell motels tend to look a bit more interesting. It's a bed. We don't give a fuck.
So, multi-stories or the full motel spread?
Multi-stories. It's more tall and thin than spread out. We don't do that kind of. Europe doesn't do motels the way you guys do motels.
Got it. Thank you. Whew, that's interesting to know.
Yeah, the room that you're looking for is possibly, unfortunately, up on the 4th floor, which is. So it's ground, first, second, third. So 5 stories up for you.
Yep. Okay. Doesn't look like so.
There's not really all that much to climb. There aren't even balconies on this thing.
No, I'm wondering if in going through if I were to go through, like, okay, at the front, what am I seeing in the direction of the way and on the main door?
Reception desk. Couple of sofas. Potted plant.
Gonna go around the building, see if there's a service entrance anywhere workers would be coming out to take their smoke breaks.
There's kind of you're kind of on a hilly sort of area, so there's a downgrade. So where you come in and down is actually the basement level. And it's not so much a service entrance where people take smoke breaks, but there's big steel double loading doors where, like, laundry goes in and out. There doesn't even seem to be a kitchen in this place. So there's not a whole lot in the way of staff.
Right. Does any of that look accessible from just a cursory?
Give me a perception check.
Nat 20.
It looks like something with electronic clickies that would probably be basically it's more of a roll up kind of loading door, and it's kind of like your average garage door.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably
Yeah,
only
I
a
see what
few
you're saying.
different people who have the remote for it, so to speak. And, a couple of sensors on the usual delivery trucks.
Oh, guess I'm going in the front.
Okay, the front door is there. It's a reception desk, a couple of sofas, a potted plant, because I know you guys get confused about that kind of thing. The potted plant, looking at it a bit more closely, is very distinctly fake and kind of dusty.
Hmm.
Are you stealthing at this point? Although coming
Yeah,
in,
I'm gonna try and stealth in past perception
okay. Please keep in
and make
mind that
this.
your difficulty is a little bit because opening door, somebody's going to notice you.
Yeah.
As for opening the door, you try to open it very small, but you do get the middle-aged, made of boring gentleman on reception. This place has no distinguishing features whatsoever. Glance up as the door, and the little pneumatic door thing makes its little psst noise, and can I help you? This in German.
Ring.
And if she's pausing in very broken English, can I help you?
Going to look like I'm thinking for a second, and then respond in intentionally busted German. Need room? Question mark.
Please to speak English. My English is better than your German.
Okay.
How many nights you stay?
I need a week.
Quotes a pretty average price. It's not no-tell motel prices, but it's not, you know. It's a week's stay in a Holiday Inn. Cheap,
Yep.
a little bit cheaper than a Holiday Inn, to be fair, because it's not a chain affair. It gives
I'm
you
gonna shell out.
it gives you a key to something on the third floor, and says we have maid service, but no room service and no restaurant. There is a restaurant that does good, inexpensive food 2 doors down to your left. Slaps the key on the desk. Have a good stay.
Thank you. And I'm gonna make my way to that room first.
Okay. It's a room.
Am I, in terms of the room's location, is it below the one that I'm gonna be headed to on the fourth floor?
Few doors down the corridor, actually.
Damn it, that's displaced. Oh well. And then I'm going to just immediately go back out and head up.
Okay. There you are on the fourth floor.
Going to check for cameras.
Perception check.
6.
I mean, you can't think of where they'd hide one in this featureless, dead mess of a hotel corridor, but you've seen some clever camera placement before, but you can't tell. You don't think there are, certainly, but
Oh,
I mean, it's literally just eggshell walls dark tan
Meh.
carpet. No
God, this
artwork.
place so aggressively beige, it feels like my soul is leaving.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm gonna make my way to room O asshole.
And there in front of you stands Rumo Asshole. Equally beige.
I'm going to attempt to jimmy this shit out of this thing and get in.
Okay, Thieves' Tools.
It's a 20.
They're not bad locks, but they're no match for you. They still use
Alright.
actual keys in this place instead of key cards.
Things you can get away with just wire and wire. Going to shut door and first things first, checking tub drain. Or shower drain, or whichever tiny ass thing is in this room.
Yeah, and it's exactly like the other room. There is a shower rather than a tub because it is a tiny bathroom. You can just about turn around in the space that's left between the shower unit, sink, and toilet. But not much. This place is so damn dull and so damn small and let's see. Not a whole lot in the shower drain, in point of fact. I mean, you're not. I mean, there are some, but not a whole lot, and you're not exactly sure that that's from his head.
Well, let's see about pulling out a small set of thieves' gloves and a baggie and gonna collect that.
Okay, now is when you make me a dex check, please.
6.
You basically managed to knock it down the drain anyway.
Well, going from there, gonna check sink, gonna see if there's anything or something like a toothbrush, hairbrush.
You do, you don't spot a hairbrush, you don't spot a toothbrush, but what you do spot is that they haven't emptied the bin tucked under the sink yet. And there is a clump of hair that has been apparently removed from hairbrush or comb. Which is
Yoink.
which is dry and a lot less gross than what you were fiddling around with.
Yep, there's that one. Yoink. I gather all the evidence I can. How bad or awful be damned.
To be fair, you do understand that it's not so much evidence as she just needs something that was attached
like basically
to him.
anything, like any any additional material.
Yeah, but to be fair, if you'd looked around the room before immediately picking something up, you would have got the easier, better bit. Easier, better,
Very
more
true.
accessible bit. So you're probably thinking that it's like, maybe I should look everywhere before I actually try to take things.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Next order of business, since I've got hair, time to look for anything resembling personal effects.
Okay, give me an investigation check this time because you're going to be poking around the room.
14.
If there is anything of proof in this room, it is very well hidden. The best you've got is a small spot over by the waste bin, which has been emptied more recently, or not filled as recently, where there's a couple of darker brown spots that stand out against the deep beige to tan carpeting. Which could be coffee, but you are you, and you know that's not coffee.
Oh boy.
And given what you know about this individual, if that was blood, it wasn't his.
Wonderful. Let's see. Can I once over again, but this time I'm going to check any of the wall sockets or vent or any of the vents to see if any of those have been pried
I
open.
had assumed that was part of your investigation
All right.
check.
Yeah, that's part of that. Okay, I can. Thinking what else to do. Doesn't seem to be anywhere else. At the very least, I can get in here pretty easily, so if I do need to, I can come back. I'm going to, besides the stuff I have grabbed, I'm going to make sure everything is as I saw it when I came in.
I don't even know what the hell you'd roll for that, but the room is probably going to get turned down soon anyway, so you don't have to worry too much about it. So we'll leave it there for now.
Yep, I'm going to head back to my room, stay there for another... stay there for an hour, and then head back.
It is the most boring fucking hour you have ever spent. This room does not have a television. It has a radio, but it's a very bad radio, and it gets like one station that plays like whatever the top 40 is in Germany right now.
Probably have to start doing like yoga or tai chi halfway through and just trying to either become one with the boredom and the beigeness or be so zen that it can't eat my soul.
Become one with beige. Okay. Really the love of the evening, I think. Wow. Wow. Zen in the art of becoming beige.
You... Okay, make me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh boy, that's how bad this is.
You're Suyin.
14.
You manage not to destroy the place just to give it some character. Just. But you do have to break your everything short by 5 minutes, because if you stayed in there one more minute more, you probably would have painted the walls with your blood just for some damn color.
Yep.
So you're out.
Back out I go, looking kind of...
the guy on reception is apparently used to this reaction, so...
Yeah.
So this one turns it back up like an hour and a half later, still looking spooked as fuck.
I've never been in a place that aggressively boring in my life. And I'm counting all of it, prison included.
I'm sure it was quite the trial.
You weren't there. No reason to talk.
Riff kind of glazed over at the phrase aggressively boring because he's trying to picture that and failing miserably.
Sometimes it's good to
I
have
tried
no
to become
imagination.
one with the beigeness. It didn't work.
To be fair, both Ketty and Rafe know that look, and that look usually heralds mass destruction.
Do I need to find a tree?
I've set fire to Singapore for less than this.
I don't know if Singapore could handle that right about now.
I don't know if Stuttgart could handle it right about now.
Not allowed.
And
Yeah,
from in Suyin's head through messaging. I'm probably better at setting things on fire than you anyway.
just responding to that message. Can we talk, please?
And after you hear Suyin mutter that from the room that Kim is borrowing, later it opens the door. Right now, it sounds like people have information, and it will distract you from the attempt to become one with the beigeness.
Yeah, well, going to pull out the baggie with the hair
Thank you very much.
and hand that over. Couldn't find any hidey holes. It was as wiped clean as he could have. There was, however, blood in the beige. Not a lot. And I can say for a fact that given this individual, it wasn't his.
Curious.
But there was blood there. And further, I have a room in that building for a week, the floor below him. Not immediately below him, but close enough that it's accessible, and I won't look particularly weird going in or out. No other
Wow.
real entrances, unfortunately. The back way is a service door for transport and supplies, and the only other way in would be through the roof, and I am not climbing that thing.
That good,
That garbage of a base jumping point.
If what we attempt with him, finding him, if it comes to nothing, if he finds he has to come back there as base camp to find, I don't know, more riders or whatever he comes here for, I have a way, I think, that we might be able to catch him. But that's only if the primary plan doesn't work.
Gotcha.
I have one of the things I was reading up on is, particularly if we have access to the building, it's a warding glyph. I can store a spell in it to trigger.
Oh, I like this idea.
Remember the bubble?
And it would put him in a bubble.
And it would put him in a bubble. We'd have to get to him within. And it winds up tapping on her pad again and going. We'd have to get to him within a minute, but I'd know when it went off. So if we were downstairs,
We'd definitely be able to go up, and I'd be able to have that door open in under that.
Well, either one of us could. Your ways would probably be a little quieter than mine, but yes.
well, alternatively, there's another one I could store in that. Similar, but it lasts longer and it's more malleable in shape. It's also more powerful, and I can't do as much of that. but it still might be better than some of the other options. At the very least, it means that the problem is if we wall off the door, we can't get through it anyway.
But if we trap him in there, then we can dispel it at an advantageous moment instead of just trying to get there fast enough.
That's true. I'd have to make sure it covered the window. But again, I'm honestly hoping that we get this resolved before he goes back there.
Agreed. Kitty, what did you get?
In the forest, there is a bear. Not quite a spirit, but a personification, a symbol. That is what the wild hunt is pursuing.
So not a bear, but the bear.
Yes.
Wow.
They've blooded it, but it seems to still be free for the moment.
And alive. I have a feeling that they're not trying to trap this. Something like that is, I mean, you could capture it, but I would imagine that you'd get more of its power through blooding and killing it.
It's very likely. But one way or the other, we need to divert the hunt's attention and that of Thomas Jensen.
Well, we need to break the hunt, and that means holding the prey as our own and chasing the hunt off. After that, what we do with the prey is up to us. But we have to hold the prey and harry the hunters until they give up the chase. That's what we have to do. Holding the prey is not going to be that difficult anymore. There are ways and means. Harrying the hunt away is probably going to take all of us. But the good part is, we now have the means by which I can find out where in the forest he currently is. Because he knows how to track this prey. So we interrupt. And even better, one of the things I looked up is a thing a little bit safer than a tent. Can't be seen through. Can't be attacked through. Lasts for 8 hours. We can still have bedrolls and things. But it's someplace we can sleep where we're not going to have to worry about being attacked.
That's good.
I tried to look up things that were helpful.
Very helpful indeed.
Thank you.
Honestly. Rafe.
No, he was just saying thank you. Go ahead.
Honestly, it'd be hard for you to do something that isn't helpful at this point.
I like to think so. One of the things I was going to say before a conversation moved on, although where it moved on was actually helpful, We might be able to make a bit more time depending on whose or what's blood is on that carpet. What I can do with Jensen's hair, if the owner of that blood is still alive, I can do with the owner of that blood.
Well, I can most definitely double back.
And I suppose it'll give us time to talk.
Yeah.
Right, and when we come back, I'll put us together something lunch. Like, no time like the present, let's go.
Raise the motivation of food, and onwards and out.
Yeah, Kim's not starting this one.
Oh, boy. Oh. About... Before... I'm sorry. That was stupid.
Not stupid, just a little bit thoughtless, that's all.
Yeah, well, thoughtless as apparently me and a shell nut.
It kind of amazes me that after so many centuries, you still haven't really learned to pick up on people's cues.
Yeah, as that's part and parcel with being so focused on the branding that didn't really look at other people, just looked at me.
You are not making your case.
I know.
I understand, but let me explain from my perspective. Since you are in a position at the moment where you probably need a user's guide to most people. Kissing is one thing. I don't do it often or lightly, and I don't instigate much. Sex, on the other hand, I don't instigate at all unless I know someone very well, trust them just about completely. I don't feel that without that level of bond. But I will say this. I am fully prepared to consider the possibility, very strong possibility, all things considered, that what we are going through right now is one of those experiences that bonds people faster than usual, but I still don't. I know your history, and that tells me some things about you as a person, but it doesn't tell me the important things. How you treat others who are close to you, what your, for lack of a better word, love language is. I don't know if that's compatible with mine yet, enough to spark off that thing that makes sex a drive. So what I will ask of you is, I suppose, be the you that you want to be, that you want to be. And if the you that you want to be wants to be sexually explicit, a little bit pushy, and completely self-absorbed, then I'll accept that, but you will not be getting into my pants. But I'm not going to stop you from being you, because if nothing else, I like you.
At least I haven't shot that in the foot yet, and I'm glad for that at least.
No. But again, I can't say for sure what I'll feel like when I know you.
That is...
But I don't think you let anybody know you. I think what you mean to say isn't that so much that you don't look at other people, you only look at you. The only reason you look at you so hard is because you want to make sure that you're showing what you want the world to see and not who you are.
Yeah.
I think those two are the only people in the world so far who have seen who you are.
Hit the nail on the head, that one.
I am looking forward to seeing a little bit more of that myself. Yeah, welcome to Wiz 17 with insight as one of her proficiencies.
Oh, wow. What was the roll on that one? Probably...
No, that was just an assumption that she'd probably have figured some shit out from notes plus observation.
God, because it's just, wow, I'm impressed. That is, like, amazing.
And yeah, you enter the Palace of Beige. The reception guy looks back up and has that look of, is this paying by the hour? What? And then you can almost see him just kind of shrug like, fuck it, she's paid for the room for the week, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm glad it's just, yep, paid for room, not even gonna...
It doesn't look particularly illegal, I can't prove anything, plausible deniability, whatever.
Like, not acknowledged, it's the same courtesy right back. Just, if you're not pestering me, I'm not gonna bug you about it.
So are you going directly or detouring?
Detour for appearances or direct?
I don't think he's paying much attention to anything but his book right now.
Direct it is.
So I don't think you could stand being here that long.
Yeah, my timer's run a bit short on that. I'd probably last about 5 minutes before I jumped out the window.
Besides, this'll take an hour to cast. There's not much more time. Don't worry, there's going to be interesting things to watch, and incense.
Yay. And gonna proceed to try to jimmy the door again.
You know what to do.
Goddamn sesame. 31.
Yeah, you know this lock by now.
1, 2, 3. Oh, that works too, huh?
And yeah,
You learn new things about locks. They're like people. Every few seconds.
It's such a shame that that leverage isn't a thing yet. Because that's Parker.
That is extremely Parker.
No, she literally said that when they got back together after in season 2. People are fiddly,
Oh my god!
like logs.
Yeah, I'm having flashbacks now. I'm gonna be rewatching that season like tonight.
Yeah, no, that was when they were. It was either first or second episode of the second season. Involved jimmying a safety deposit box lock. Because they had the key to half of it with the plastic sticky and then jimmying the other one.
Oh god, the nun thing.
The nun thing, yes. So, yeah, for the next hour, you've got Kim pulling out. First thing she does is pull out one of her little bags and going, "This is some of this magic business is exceptionally expensive. Hold a palm full of glittering dust. This is powdered diamond. That's why I was buying that.
Yeesh.
Couple of
Never need
$100
a
worth.
bloody resupply. It's gonna be a whole debacle of resupply, but I'll see what I can do
Well,
if you need it.
that's why your black market section was such a good place. But remember, we all have a budget.
Mm.
And then yeah, for the next hour, it's incense that smells rather familiar to Suyin. In point of fact, it's something that would have been in use back in the day. And just murmuring, you haven't heard this dialect of Korean in a very long time either. Um, whatever chant she's found for this is the old school.
I'm
And
going to deadbolt the door, given a bit,
mm,
and those additional locks that.
yeah, I know what you meant.
Yeah, because I know there's deadbolt and the other stuff. I just
Yep,
wanted to make sure I got both.
yep. You might also kind of want to open a window.
Yep, gonna go crack one of those. And honestly, the incense is way more calming than my prior attempts at zenning into the beige.
Yep. And after about an hour, you sort of see her straighten up a little bit. And her head moves almost like she's looking around, but her eyes are closed. Opens her eyes again. The powder diamonds that she'd scattered on the floor for the blood are gone. And it takes the incense and douses it in a running faucet. Well, unfortunately, I mean, there's good news and there's bad news. Well, there's good news, better news, and bad news. The good
Oh
news,
dear.
to a point, is the questionably good news is that was the bear's blood. It was on it must have been on an article of clothing or something. The better news is that the bear is still alive and doesn't seem to be being pursued right at this moment. The bad news is that it's a little bit difficult to figure out exactly where from what I was seeing. I could see it.
But not anything else.
Ah, I'd want to do this back at the house, but well, no, because even if I just scry the location, that doesn't mean I'll necessarily know where the location is. I will know the area when I see it. And we
Alright.
know the hunting grounds. So at least that's narrowing it down. It did seem to be a place to go, not so much to go to ground, but to eat. There was water. There were bushes.
Water
Berry
at the very
bushes.
least.
Yeah, we should hopefully be able to find what we're looking for. Easier than we could anyway. We can triangulate on a map. through what we know of the hunting areas, at least head in the right general direction. And I owe some people lunch. We should shut that window. Be grateful that, oh, I wonder if this works. Murmur something in Korean and does some prestidigitation just on the air. Not to make it smell different, but to clean the incense out of it. So what little is still lingering on, bedclothes, carpet, the rest of it, though she avoids that bit with the bear blood, because then she thinks about it for a minute and goes, well, they do have a cleaning service, and cleans a little bit of it. Enough to make it look like they tried. Sophie wonders why the room smells so much less bleach cleany. Right. Shall we before the beige starts eating your soul again?
Yeah, that incense, it's starting to chew. Shut window, reset room,
Yeah.
exit.
I mean, they hadn't really touched anything except for dropping the diamond dust, which is gone, and every other bit of stuff had been cleaned up, so there wasn't really anything to reset, but it was good to check. So these two come back, and Suyin is looking far more cheerful. Middling news, that blood was the bear's. Good news, the bear is still alive and safe for the moment. Bad news is that I can't pinpoint an exact location. I can triangulate on points I saw while I was scrying the bear, but it's not going to be that exact. But at least it's more than we had before. We know the hunting grounds. It'll be less to search through.
Broad area is more than enough.
And the good part is I can look at that area again if I need to. I mean, only once more today, and I wouldn't have that much. I wouldn't have that wall that I want to be able to make. I wouldn't be able to do that again if I did it twice in one day, but it's a possibility if we're concerned that he's moving too close to that bear's territory, because it looked like that was a place that it went to eat, drink. I think there might have been a den nearby. But since I've seen the location now, I can look at it again. And I won't need any items or anything, because a place can't generally resist an attempt and block someone out. A person can, which is why I wanted bits from Jansen, but if we hold on to the hair, at least we have another way of doing that. I'm going to make lunch.
Had a thought.
Hmm?
Since this bear is the bear, would it have the same general territory range as any other bear, or would it be Stuttgart and everything else?
Okay, it's not the bear itself.
Mm.
The bear itself is a bear, as far as I could see. It's that this particular bear is, yes, larger, stronger, probably more intelligent than other bears. It's like Ketty was saying, it's almost like the spirit has resided in this bear.
Mm. So it's a tether.
And if it dies, the spirit of Germany, Stuttgart area, however far this one goes, probably the one who kills him can take that for his own.
Okay, yeah, I see the order of operations now.
So we protect the bear.
Yep.
The spirit of this nation, landmass, whatever, has chosen this bear. And can't protect this bear alone. I mean, even if it was just a plain hunter that killed it, it would just be life cycle, and that spirit would find another home. Not if something gets it first. So, lunch and talk.
Gotcha.
And we are at that time. So, when we meet up, hopefully next week, but the way things have been going lately, we will plan and we will hunt.